The admissions calendar is pretty straightforward. Working through the months, there are specific events, major events in each month that contribute to the overall admissions cycle. It's pretty straightforward. We'll work from the calendar from January through December. Beginning in January, this is a strange time of year because at the end of the year you have things that wrap around into January, and so you have the preliminary application review. But one of the most important things is reaching out to those juniors and actually sophomores, purchasing names, and we purchase names through a number of avenues. But being able to make that initial contact to put them in the candidate pool, you'll see in the other uh, enrollment statuses screencast that inquired. This is where the students come in the acquired, and so having that pool of candidates to really start that funnel off very large and work your way down to that 500 students or so that you have come in each year. February is the application deadline for regular decision, and so what you're working on in the fall is getting all those students ready to apply. That application deadline, and then of course you have the application that you started back in November working through, but this is where it really kicks into high gear because that large group of students completing their applications coming in and working through all of those before March rolls around and your decision letters are sent. So you continue that application review, getting that pool of students, making those decisions, then sending out the vast majority of those decision letters here in March to be able to get that class in. April is big on events. You have open houses, you have new student days. Those open houses are for those prospective families. You've been connecting with juniors and sophomores. Now you're inviting them onto campus, getting them on campus for the open houses. These new student days, a month prior, you send out your application decision letters, and so you have all those accepted students that are now making their final decisions before May rolls around, and getting through those late applications, those students that may not have been fully complete. They submitted the application on time, but you're waiting for transcripts or test scores, or you're waiting on those students to get letters from teachers, letters of recommendation, and so we have a few stragglers that come through and sending out those late application decisions. May 1st is National Student Decision Day, and that's the day that every admissions office either fears or jeers because either the students are coming in or they're not. And so being able to have, as mentioned in the other screencast, that waitlist pool, if you need to, you can pull from those to kind of boost your numbers and have a full class. But the big thing that happens in May are those deposits that are due for that incoming class. June, July, and August, through the summer months, things are pretty slow in admissions. You are finished more or less with the classes coming in that fall, yet you're not quite ready to begin with really working on those prospective students for the next year, and so that comes around in the fall months. But you're doing some messaging throughout the summer for those students that are either paid deposit, because there's something called MELT that we try to fight every year, which are those students that actually pay deposit but don't actually end up coming. And so that messaging to those students that have paid a deposit, you're working with those through some events, through summer programs, but really pretty slow through June, July, and August. September is very important because it's the prep for your travel for the next fall class, and so you're working on a class that's going to be coming into your institution a year from now, and so working on those students that are newly seniors and newly juniors, which were the sophomores and juniors that you bought last January, and so working on that travel prep, messaging high school counselors, setting up visits, scheduling and RSVPing to college fairs, and so knowing exactly where you're going to be, how long you're going to be there, and making your schedule. October is the month for travel. There are very few admissions offices fully functioning because all the counselors are going on travel. Some colleges will actually hire staff members for 3 or 4 months, for those last 3 or 4 months in the year, to come in, go on travel, advertise for the institution, give the best they can, and then their contract is up at the end of the year. So being able to go out and make a good impression is what October is all about. November is the early decision deadline, and so we actually have the decision for students to apply what is called early decision, and then those decision letters will also go out in November. So within that month, usually about a 3-week turnaround, we have the deadline and the letters go out as well. December is very much the same except for early decision 2, and so they have that deadline to submit the application December 1st, and then within a couple of weeks those decisions are all out for those students. And you come all the way back again to December, from December to January, and so you have those students that you have information for. They've started the application for the next fall, and you come back to January where you kind of start over again. So having that cyclical year, you work through everything and it keeps rolling on.